Mullet Madjack is a game ripped straight from the 90s with its OVA anime styling. Imagine a game that pushes together Doom and 90s shonen anime and you have this. It leads to beautiful and horrifying ways in the game that you can tear your enemies apart using a weird variety of exaggerated weaponry. The game is set in a post-apocalypse, well, depending on your perspective, where human brains and the internet merged, with the human body becomes so dependent on brain rot TikToks that it requires dopamine every 10 seconds, otherwise you will drop dead on the spot. You get this by killing the various hordes of silly robots in increasingly elaborate ways until your heart literally flatlines from lack of dopamine. You're one of the moderators hired by the Peace Corps, in which plays the strong silent type, and your name is literally the protagonist, also known as Jack Banhammer, who you can either mute or unmute based on your preferences. The goal of this game is just to obtain some cool looking sneakers from the moderation team by rescuing a princess who needs to be rescued, literally so that we can secure some new shoes, while literally injecting the love of the audience into your veins. But anyway, let's get to rescuing this princess as I explore this kind of review, kind of summary, whatever the hell this is. Let's go kick some ass. So this game is divided into a number of floors which you have to climb in order to fight the boss on every 10th floor. Dying does reset you to the last checkpoint after a boss because every single game has to be a roguelike nowadays where you kick, slash, shoot and blast enemies into the Shadow Realm. My first attempt to go domed really early on as I'm playing the game on challenging difficulty, which has 1 second health regen on a kill. It's the developer recommended difficulty for the game. I have finished this game on the difficulty below, but I still got my ass handed to me plenty of times throughout making this. I mean, I very quickly picked up on the GOAT of a weapon, known as the shotgun, which at max level gives the ability to charge up the damage by reloading, and also no longer needs reloading at all, which is very fun and not busted in the slightest whatsoever. And honestly, through my last playthrough on this one, it was the best for gunning down anyone that I needed to as fast as possible. Before I could even blink, I was in front of the first boss, some I have Sauron looking motherfucker. The bosses in this game are called Robillionaires and are basically the personification of Mark Zuckerberg if he injected himself into a machine body and decided that he needed to become a giant eye with lasers. And he quickly was dispatched before he could try and sell me metaverse NFTs. However, the princess is in another castle, and so I kind of need to keep climbing this tower. At the end of each chapter you do get a permanent upgrade, and for this one I chose to keep the last upgrade into the next life, but other than that I suppose we should just jump straight into the next chapter. So all upgrades have been reset after I've gone through this elevator. Presumably it's just actually having to pay income tax, as is the way of the world. The enemies obviously don't pay that because they work for Amazon, and probably to make sure you aren't too powerful. So this set of levels introduces some very fun Mountain Dew acid pulls, which just chip away your health as you run over them, which they aren't very fun, although for some reason the doors also now have locks on them, so you have to blast the chains off, which if you've got a shotgun is not that hard, but anything else struggles a little bit. I mean, by the time I got to the boss floor, I'd get my ass kicked so hard that I ended up having to go straight back down to 12, meaning you have to go all the way back up a few times. It totally wasn't annoying at all, but I did eventually give the boss a firm whack on the head and actually saw the princess this time, which definitely did make a difference in comparison. I mean, there's not much else to say really. I mean, the boss kicked my ass, but yeah, straight on to the next one. It's quite quick. So at the start of chapter 3 I chose level 2 weapons, as with this upgrade it gives you better weapons for all types of cool damages, and it also helps with getting the right weapon for a specific boss. This mainly has the difference of electric floors on this chapter, they're fun to navigate. Totally. The levels are relatively simple, which is why I've not been really commenting on them, but I will explain the average Amazon employee that I've been carving a path through in the time I've made this video. So the basic enemies you've seen are the android class robots, the humanoid looking ones, comprising of vice grunts, shotgunners and defenders who all look like they need to be left on their first bathroom break in a 25-hour shift. The smaller enemy types are the drones, which Amazon is now using to control your every move and can be killed just by kicking them in the face. They are fly drones, arachna drones and drone mines. There are also monster class robots, which are the mix of the two, and the future of Amazon employees comprised of hunters who run very fast, zombies who don't die very fast, and ghosts who go invisible, and then again, if you need seconds, they need to be killed kind of quickly. I'm hoping that I have enough footage of these types, otherwise we may have problems making this video, but I can just re-record it. This boss fight, however, is built different as it starts you getting blown to hell and dropped down into a ledge where a bad guy monologues for a bit about summoning something through a portal with the virgin blood of the princess, confirming that he is in fact the average Discord moderator trying to protect his kitten in order to summon the devil, or God, or something he's not too sure, but it will definitely be coming from the Bible. But once you get a special delivery from the streamers to snipe his ass with a limited offer sniper rifle, it's gonna be a good time. I mean, after an intense sniper battle between the Boeing assassins and you, Jeff Bezos kinda just shoots you in the forehead and you fucking die. So, as it turns out, Jeff Bezos actually sent you to the Shadow Realm, as in you did actually die, but the Peace Corps ratings have gone crazy since the stream started and they need their advertising money to keep going, or people will actually die. They use a resurrection wizard and inject your Tamagotchi with the program to get you back alive, and it now looks like a brainstem or something so that you can now rescue the princess. I mean, it goes through the scariest part of the game ever, which is childhood trauma, and you eventually end up going back to reality with 95% of your brain intact. You know, that's going to have no repercussions later whatsoever, missing 5% of your brain, but, you know, we're going to see how it goes, aren't we? Because, you know, that part probably wasn't important. After waking up to consciousness, I slammed through all the metaverse users at the speed of sound while eating a lollipop. Yes, I said eating. I eat lollipops. The crunching sound they make is nice. And for some reason, that means you're able to take more damage because I guess lollipops make you bulletproof in this universe. I mean, that can't be helped. However, against the endless hits of endlessness that are introduced into this universe that inevitably will rip out your spine and feed it to a chihuahua called the Dark Destroyer, this all kind of leads to 5% of your brain that currently doesn't exist to make you think the boss fight is like a Final Fantasy game for some reason before you make a knife appear in the boss's skull, and then it appears as an actual boss fight. I mean, I didn't remember what to do for the first minute, but eventually remembered that I needed to slap the shit out of a robot and continue on as I had done before, getting minigunned the shit out of by this overzealous employee. He honestly probably was trying to get to the bathroom, and I wouldn't blame him by the sounds of it, and that's what you need to do to get an Amazon break. And after that, just making my way to chapter 5. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson in how to slaughter your local tech support warehouse and how to break in and destroy your local Apple store, and invite you to join me next time for the final stage of this mullet putting a bullet in unnamed CEO for legal reasons.